Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to yet another podcast hosted by BLACKOUT Hicom. Today we are going to discuss only few topics. So the four topics we will be mostly discussing is going to be quick mentions on whatever work has been done, which is mentioned in the roadmap. So whatever we did post in the roadmap, I'm going to talk about it. Whatever has been done and whatever is going to be done. What the work focus for the next 2 weeks will be for me being Crunchy Curry, DH5. So whatever work I will be focusing for the coming 2 weeks until the next podcast, I'll talk about it today itself. uh, Wait a minute. Alright. And the last two topics will be just questions from officers themselves and questions from the normal public in general. I think I closed the forms real quick. Let me check. Alright, there we go. Alright, so starting off with the first thing, which is whatever work which has been done till now from the last podcast, which was hosted 2 weeks ago. Where's the roadmap channel? There we go. Alright, so starting off with the few things I've already done working on, finish implementation of RG channels and start its basic functioning. RG, the department itself has been, started. It got started this week's. Wait, this week? I think it was this week's Thursday. Uh, Jackson and King Monkey have been really helping me a lot in starting off the department, and they already have recruited many builders who are quite skillful in their own way, and sooner or later down the line they will be starting, you know, having the builders post their work in the channels which are dedicated to them, which is the showcase channel, where they can post their builds for people to buy and stuff. So those channels will be made public once the department is at fully functional capacity, where products have been posted. Otherwise, yeah, the department has been started in general. So yeah, sooner or later down the line, you guys will be seeing more of it, the normal public at least. But otherwise, for the people who are more involved in the divisional scene, not divisional department scene, will know that the department has started its first few steps. Improve member behavior. It's a permanent thing at this point, but yeah, I have already posted many messages, not many, but like one message regarding it, and at least from what I can see, certain things have been, controlled, but not everything. Just to be clear, and this is more or less, I'll come back to this in other questions which have been asked by the public. But yeah, I am going to try my best to contain this situation constantly over and over. Push enough low content monthly. Now, this week at least, I haven't been able to work on the low content which I will be trying to push out. This is blackout low content, by the way, and the for this week itself, I will be trying my best to work on lore and the and finish implementing the moderation system which I have already proposed to officers and moderators. So now this week itself, my main focus will be to just propose, not propose, but like finish implementing the new moderation system. It's pretty much similar to the same, but new changes have been added. I'll talk about it down the line. But yeah, once I finish the whole moderation thing, that's pretty much majority of the work I have right now. I already transferred my work as a financial overseer to QWQV8, who's an N3 in Blackout. So congratulate him to become that he has become a new financial overseer. And my divisional overseer work is already transferred to F1. So he is mostly handling the whole divisional scene right now. So yeah, that's majority of my work gone. So I will be focusing more on the roadmap rather than whatever job used to have as an H4. Otherwise, moving on to the next thing, which is pushing out special occurrence to start being hosted. That's still under works. I believe this is regarding one of the questions an officer asked, so I'll get to it when I'm responding to that question. Making sure that whatever faction is supposed to, okay, that's something I need to work on constantly. Uh, Leniency and moderation system. All right. Talking about leniency, let me just read whatever I have made for the people who are listening. This system will be shown to the public soon in like 2 to 3 days. But whoever people are listening to the podcast, I'll quickly mention the leniency system. So, in terms of leniency, we are not going to be totally 100% lenient, but these are the few things which will be done considering the current warning system doesn't allow any kind of leniency. So if you have one warning one role for any reason, and I mean like any reason at all, you cannot appeal that warning. So what I created is in terms of leniency, verbals and timeouts are non-appealable. So those things are specifically non-appealable. Warning one can be appealed to be removed from the server profile after 4 months of issue date, which pretty much means if you got warned on January of 14th, on 14th of January, so then it's March, April. So like after at April or May, you will be able to appeal your warning one role from the server profile only. Your past record still will count as a reason for us to take action against you, but the warning role itself can be appealed as of now, not as of now, but like whenever I do implement it. Then warning 2 can be appealed, same thing, but 6 months of issue date. So you can only appeal your warning 2 role after 6 months has passed from the issue date. Warning 3, same thing, but there is a specific thing regarding warning 3. Earlier, well, technically right now, what we usually do for warning 3 is usually when anyone gets warning 3, we instantly ban them. That's pretty much the current system right now. What I'm going to implement is if someone does things really badly and even manage to receive warning 3, they will be first gulag and contained, first of all, and second of all, there will be a vote for all of the moderators to vote on that does the person deserve to be kicked or not, pretty much. So not kicked, but banned. There we go, banned slash blacklisted. So if a person does whenever if a person does get warning 3 role, they will be pretty much subject to judgment from all the moderators, and the moderators themselves can vote on to either blacklist the person or not. If the person isn't being blacklisted, they will pretty much serve the time they are going to spend in the server. Otherwise, if they are going to be blacklisted, then yeah, they will get blacklisted. There's few more things in detail for the moderation system, which is more or less for moderators and officers to only know. The normal public isn't really, keen on knowing, but I will be posting every single detail in announcements sooner or later down the line, so even the public is clear on how we are supposed to conduct. And as I said, even if there can be special occasions on many times in moderation. If you have done moderation in Discord channels, you will obviously know that anything mentioned in the rules is not always going to happen. There can be many special scenarios, and like whatever things I have planned to implement, these will be accommodating those specific things. And so this I propose this to officers and moderators, and both parties have agreed, so I will be implementing this to the public soon down the line. I will also be kicking few old moderators and getting in new moderators too. Alright, someone DM me, I'm just going to ignore it. Moving on to the next stuff, roadmap channel, there we go. Alright, improve frequency of officer meetings. This One of the officers asked this question, so I'll answer it then. Ensure officers host quality events. Down the line work. I still haven't really went towards officers and asked regarding the quality of the event, but yes, I will soon be starting it. Hopefully by next week at least. But yeah, I'm trying to clean up things which can be cleared up as of now. So if anything I can work on which can be cleared up and implemented instantly, I'm going to first work on that, and then I will be focusing on the long-term plans, similar to like lore and all of that. But yeah, ensure the working sectors, same thing long term. Implementation of the clips channel. Now, recently I did implement the clips channel. I don't think that channel has, you know, as expected was is being used. I'm pretty sure there's literally only like one medal clip. I I mostly think this is due to the restriction of the 9 by 16 ratio of people being only able to post videos if the clips are 9 by 16 in ratio. I am most probably going to remove it. You know what? I am going to remove it. To be honest, it doesn't really matter at this point. If someone uh, wait a minute. All right. Anyways, so yeah, as I was saying, the clips submission channel hasn't been working out really. Personally, I mostly think that it's the requirement for videos to be clips to be in the 9 by 16 ratio. But otherwise, yeah, I'm most probably going to remove that specific requirement because people aren't really posting it. So yeah, I'll soon be trying to like keep certain channels active as much as possible. So yeah, rework of basic training down the line thing. I'm not going to focus on it now. Uh, then finished financial calculator. I already have done it. Well, part of it. I still need to do some few things, but as of right now, it's working perfectly. Joint events, two per month. Recently, we did host a scrim, and we did win it. Recently. Wait, let me see the log real quick. Where's the log? I don't think it's in operation channels. Should be in training log. We had a scrim with a certain faction. I remember Zelot mentioned it to me. He's the head of our foreign affairs, by the way. Okay, no, that's navigation. There we go. Blackout versus Copperhead Corporation scrim. So apparently, according to the report which Jackson posted, they rallied sadly with only five guys. So we had to balance a lot. Score ended up with Blackout winning five matches and 5 rounds, and Corporation winning one. Congrats to Blackout. Hope you all enjoyed, and the rest is office stuff. But yeah, so yeah, we did manage to host one unjoined events in this month. Hopefully, we can get this number by two next week, or we might be able to get a joint event this month itself. But yeah, so yeah, thank you for winning the war for whoever attended it, and hopefully we can start involving more scrim related events and so on and so forth. Otherwise, yeah, moving on to the roadmap again. Let me go back to the channel. Implementation of the joint divisional venture still in the works. I still haven't really fully planned it out yet, but yeah, soon soon I get the time, I'll work on it. Ensure moderation is up to the mark with the changes in leniency. Once the changes do apply, I am planning to revamp the moderation team. So I will be kicking many old moderators who have been inactive for a long time. So yeah, many of the old people will be yeeted and new people will be brought in. I am planning to post a public applications regarding this. So if you are interested in becoming a moderator, there will be public applications for it. But if you have a long history of not obeying the rules, trust me, it's not worth posting the application, even as a joke. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it in terms of updates regarding the roadmap. Whatever things I am going to do this week, at least the coming 2 weeks, will be implementation of the moderation system. So the leniency system, and introducing the public on how moderation will be working, at least in words, so people can understand why we take certain actions whenever we do take certain actions, and few fixes here and there. And I will be most probably shifting towards the I will be most probably shifting towards what did I plan? Oh yeah, regarding offices and improving offices and so on and so forth. Not specifically offices, but like how we usually function with offices. Yeah, that. All right. So that pretty much concludes what I'm going to work on this week. I know the two things may sound very short, but like trust me, it's really vast if I go deep into it. But yeah, I cannot really explain it fully properly now, considering I haven't really started work on it. But yeah, for the coming 2 weeks, I will be mostly focused on those things and doing my best to whatever things we I have started recently to see if those things work out properly in the future. Otherwise, they will be just scrapped out. So yeah. All right. Moving on to the questions asked by officers. Hopefully, I am doing this podcast really good. It has been like 16 minutes since I started, and I have been speedrunning through it. So yeah, hopefully everyone, hopefully the people who can understand me are understanding me. But yeah, moving on. Questions asked by officers. Let me first go through it. All right. The officer has asked to not mention his name, so I won't. But one of the officers has asked that is Hall of Fame going to be updated? I haven't really checked if Hall of Fame is going to be is being updated or not. Wait, let me look real quick. If it's not being updated, then I'll definitely get Sate to work on it. Because initially, when Hall of Fame started, I believe uh, a lot of the information which Hall of Fame usually needs to contain was like empty. So like developer section, we didn't even have a proper department of research and development. So like the developer section was usually empty. Gaming records, something I have to might have to talk to Natkrans regarding it, considering he's the head of community engagement. So hopefully he can start you know doing certain tournaments through community members, so they can so the winners in those specific competitions can have their names in such areas. Is the channel public? Oh yeah, the channel is public. So yeah, sooner or later down the line, there will be more like actual information for us to use there. But yeah, I'll talk to Seth regarding the implementations of it, if we can actually work it out or not. But yeah, in terms of answering your question, yes, it's going to be updated down the line. But yeah, hopefully I can get it working, considering it is sort of has been part of Blackout since like the start, I believe. So yeah. The second question asked by another officer, Poppy, who's an M3 in Blackout. Her question is, what are CTO and Hicom plans on increasing both officer quality and quantity? What about plans on OIT selection to have better quality OITs and to have them quickly fill Blackout ranks so we can have more activity that we lost over the past months? Now, I cannot comment over how we lost officers in the past months, but as of right now, I believe, uh, according to the talks I've had with Nutcrunch and Nova, we are going to push out a new officer quota soon, which will hopefully increase activity, because the new officer quota will be more lenient on giving points. So pretty much avoiding officers with points for whatever events they host. So just to give you a general idea of how the new quota will be, suppose if you do an event, like in the current quota itself, if you do an event and logged it, it will only count for events hosted and logistical contribution. But with the new quota itself, suppose if you hosted a basic training, you will get a point for hosting the event, you will also get a point for logging the event, and you will also get a specific amount of point for hosting, like a specific amount being either 2 points or 1 point, depending on the type of event. But yeah, if you host it, I'm giving basic training as an example, so the 2 points for hosting and logging it, and the third point will be for hosting a training. So specific events will have their own specific points. So supposing if you hosted a PvP training, PvP training, so you will get 2 points in addition to the events hosting and so on and so forth. This new quota was discussed out between me, Natkanch, and Nova. It has been sort of finalized. There's only like one thing they need to talk about it. But considering in America schools are starting, Nova and Nutkins haven't really been able to discuss regarding it. But yeah, I am going to push that specific thing out as soon as possible and clear it up with officers. In terms of improving officer quality, I don't really have a specific plan regarding it. Like the first thing I need to do is see how what quality we are at, like at this stage right now. Certain officers do host quality events. So certain officers have their own specific way of hosting events, which let's just say not many officers may agree on it. But everyone has their own type. So I first need to understand what this current situation is, and then pretty much improve on it. So yeah, even if I do if I did wanted to answer this question like literally right now, what I would say is I would try my best to see whatever officers do have problems with in terms of hosting the events, because hosting quality overall depends on the officer. If the officer is lacking in certain things or isn't feeling comfortable regarding certain things, then the quality of the event also automatically drops. If the officer isn't creative with the events, then also the quality of the events obviously drop. So yeah, I will be trying my best in understanding the officers and seeing where they are specifically lacking. uh, Not me specifically, but like even the CTO will be involved in this. But yeah, I will also be personally invested in this too. In terms of also officer quantity, as I said, I cannot change the blackout focus to quality over quantity in terms of officers. So over the time, what I can only say is new officers will come, but that will more or less depend on how if they can pass the OIT phase or not. If they cannot pass the OIT phase, I cannot 100% guarantee that a specific person will become an officer, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I cannot say that I can really work on the quantity of officers, but yeah, I will try my best to improve the quality of them. Plans on OIT selection. As of right now, I personally don't have any specific plans. Uh, in terms of Nutcrunch, like in terms of whatever talks I've had with Nutcrunch and Nova, I haven't really seen anything regarding OIT. But yeah, considering you did mention this, I'll talk with them and see if there is anything cooking between them. If there is, I'll inform you directly in your DMs, Poppy. But otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much all I can answer regarding your question. So yeah, only two officers asked their questions. I don't know if this is a good sign or not. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the last podcast too. The number has decreased, but yeah, considering the current officer situation, not many still trust Hicom to do their work. So yeah, again, I cannot 100% guarantee trust 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 between us, but just have have a certain amount of trust, and you can expect the work to be done sooner or later down the line. That doesn't mean we will not be doing the work. We are doing work. Just wait for us to like finish things up. Uh, Let me just check something real quick. Brody, I know you sent one. I'm pretty sure it's in the it's in the public one. I'll answer it too. Don't worry. I'll answer it while answering the public questions. So yeah, don't worry about it. I'll mention your name. Don't worry. Anyways, moving on to the questions which the public has have directly asked. Few of these are troll questions. I checked the forms before, you know, hosting the podcast, and yeah. All right. So the first question asked by the public, uh, Victor. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing the name correct. Who's an L6 in Blackout? His question is, will we see uniform changes? I believe this is indicating towards the Blackout standard uniform. All right. Uh, I don't think we will be seeing uniform changes anytime soon, but according to whatever I have been hearing about regarding the BRM5 update, the new one, if if there is an actual separate open world map which is going to be added, there might be a change in your standard uniform. So depending on what the other map is, we might switch to based on the terrain. But like uh, in terms of switching uniform based on terrain, that's more of a BW thing and not standard blackout thing. And I don't think we have any plans to like implement that specific thing for for standard blackout. Like ever since the start of blackout, we always have had a uniform which represents uh, the color black. So yeah, Even at the start, I believe we used to use the Singapore one, which is currently called. I can't remember the new names, but it's something Varicam Black or something. But yeah, uh, as of right now, we don't have any plans to change the uniforms. So yeah, moving on to the next question. Uh, Criminal. I'm not going to answer that question, but I will be posting a question in general chat just for people to see what you asked. But yeah, moving on to the next question. Ninus, who's an L15 in Blackout, is water wet? Yes, water is wet. If you haven't had a personal experience with regarding water, highly suggest touching it. But moving on to the serious question he has asked, talk about BRC. Now, if I remember correctly, Broody has also asked a similar question, so I'll answer your question there. Hopefully, you are there in the audience to hear it. But yeah, Niners. I don't know what's going on in China, but water is wet. Alright, moving on to the next question. I'm not going to read general for a while. Alright, I'll answer your question regarding BRC down the line. Uh, the next question from Christy, who's an L15 in Blackout. Will L15 get more perks and abilities? We need to motivate people to reach that rank, and the skull mask and custom emoji is not enough to motivate people to get that last. And his next question is if BRM5 gets LMGs. If you don't know what LMGs mean, light machine guns, as a handheld weapon, will BSC and BOC be the only ones who can use it? I'll answer your first question. Will L15 get more perks and abilities? Now, this is a thing I mentioned in the last podcast, I think, or in the previous podcast at least. I legit cannot think of something which I can like literally provide to L15s as an incentive for someone to like grind to L15. Like we conclude majority of the perks with L13 and L14 itself. Like L13 gets events access role, has a chance to get events access role, so they can host events personally with a supervisor, and L14 people can like directly apply for NCOs and OIT without having to wait for the month long process. So yeah, so the thing regarding L15 specifically is I cannot think more perks for us to like actually give out to people, but like wait a minute. Let the L15 role be above event access and give us. Wait. Is the L15 role actually not below? All right, Niners. The thing why the L15 role is below events access is because of Discord permission issues. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, it has been like ever since the implementation of L15, it was more about the Discord permissions. But yeah, yeah, I'm going to read through it right now. Uh, Give me a minute. Alright, for the people who are just simply listening into the podcast and the YouTube video, right now I'm reading a suggestion made by Niners regarding more perks for L15. So later it asks, okay, and give us a good color instead of OIT color, like full white, cyan, or something else. So L15 actually sounds tempting. You know what? In terms of color, sure, I can think of a new color, but yeah, otherwise I don't think I can personally think of a new thing. If someone else has a proper suggestion regarding it, just feel free to DM me regarding it. But yeah, like I cannot like risk too much, like giving out too much that L15s have similar perks as an officer, but like I this is why I haven't been able to like think of a proper perk. I cannot just have certain things overlap. So if things overlap, then one thing can be achieved in two ways. So like it sort of diminishes the value of that specific thing. So yeah, pretty much like if I decided to give L15 permission to host host like blackout events without any supervisor, that pretty much diminishes like the value of an officer. So yeah, I cannot allow certain things, but yeah, if anyone has a proper suggestion, feel free to DM it to me. Restrict Deagle, then make it an elf. Alright, the last time I restricted a certain weapon, Toast, I had to face a lot of heat for it. So yeah, I'm not going to restrict the Deagle and make it an L15 perk. Sorry about it. Alright, moving on to your next question, Christy. If BRM5 get LMGs as a handheld weapon, will BSC and BOC will be the only ones to use who can use it? Now, regarding light machine guns, ever since the concept of this specific weapon being added as a handheld weapon in BRM5, everyone has automatically just assumed that this will most probably go to BSC and BOC only, because BSC is a division which is like focused on heavy heavy ground forces. Like they are still pretty much standard blackout units, but they are more focused on vehicles and being a heavy unit itself. So yeah, it will more like I'm not 100% sure regarding it, but like I'm like 90% sure that BSC will get LMGs if if it gets added, and BOC by default will be getting it because they have no weapon restrictions as of now. So yeah. Moving on to the next question. Uh, from Pro9487, who's an L3 in Blackout. Can we ask Game Loaded or Na for doing a uh, uh, crowdfunding, adding our own exclusive uniform in BRM5? Funny thing you mentioned this. Okay, for certain people who don't know regarding how PL5 and verified faction leaders work, so supposing if you are in the exclusive club of being a verified faction leader, there is a separate channel for faction leaders to talk with the community manager of PL5, who is I forgot his name. Real Zoic. There we go. So faction like verified faction leaders can actually talk with the community manager and like talk out and see if we can do certain things which can be beneficiary for the faction and the game itself. And we we sort of have like a priority in terms of suggestions. It's not like our suggestions will be like 100% be implemented, but like verified faction leaders do have a certain voice in the PL5 community itself. So in terms of that, we recently had a Niners, no, there will be no made uniform for Blackout unless NAR adds it. If made if an actual made uniform does get added, sure, but otherwise no. But yeah, recently, uh, faction leaders. This is before the time I actually became H5. I only knew about this after I got access to that channel. But recently, few of the faction leaders had actually like requested the community manager to like uh, have more exclusivity for like verified factions. So that simply included either custom uniform, or give faction or give verified factions a specific custom patch. So like we so that was up for consideration, but I believe that was more or less rejected. Like real Zoic, I don't wait. I can't remember the exact chats, but I think he neither said yes nor no. He was like he simply just said PL5 mod developers will consider it, but there was no specific comment after it. But yeah, in terms of that specific thing, we can ask the main developer. I cannot pronounce his name properly, but yeah, we can ask the head developer of PL5 to like add certain things for like verified factions, but we cannot 100% be like guaranteed that those specific things will be added, because after all it's their game and we are simply just a part of it. Like even if you combine every single verified factions member count, that still is going to be dwarfed by how many people usually play BRM5 normally. So yeah. Moving on to the next question. Hopefully that clears out your question, Pro 9487. The next question is, wait a minute, I have a ping. Okay, that's in my friend's server. Alright, next thing. Next question. Uh, Pyro the Shark, who's an L9 and BAC in the server, has Hicom ever thought about loaning money from another faction or from United Nations? I believe this is more directed towards Blackout Treasury, because otherwise I don't think there's any involvement of money in other sections of Blackout. But yeah, if this is regarding Blackout Treasury, then no, we are not planning to implement a loaning a loan system where we can take loans from other things, because the thing is, like, this pretty much follows up for like real life too. Once you get a loan, you are never out of it. Like, unless and until you unless and until your idea really has a positive impact on your financial income, a loan can never be repaid unless and until you properly grind for it. Like, legit, that is exactly the reason why I never implemented a loan system personally when I was financial overseer, because anytime you take a loan, you have to repay it back on an interest. And like, the conditions of repaying that that specific loan itself is like a long list of things. Like, if you research about like how real life loans work, you can see how complex things get. So like, yeah, I don't think such a complex system can be implemented in Blackout, even if we dumb it down to like, yeah, we took a loan and so on and so forth. But like, yeah, I don't think loans will be added in terms of Blackout Treasury. Uh, Sir Sitaras, who asked, who I am responding to your ping in general. No, I don't think that's grounds for us to like kick a person. But yeah. Moving on to the next question. Good time with Ska, who's an Alpha in Blackout. What should I do when someone flies a sea stallion into a bunker raid? Now, I don't know where you're specifically getting this from, but I think this is from Ruby's bunker raid event. I recently heard it was a really spread bunker raid. I don't think there were proper specific rules enforced in it. Uh, but just to answer your question, in the case that someone flies a sea stallion into a bunker raid, report it to your nearest BAC authority, which is BAC officers or the deputy director or director, and they will be taking further action regarding the pilot and their capability to fly a sea stallion. But yeah, moving on to the next question, which is from EKFTHB. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. Yeet, when am I going to new Blackout? Most probably never, but depends on the situation. But yeah. Alright, moving on to the question in the forms. How long Blackout has been? I assume you are asking that how long it has been since Blackout has started. Blackout initially was founded on June 4th, I believe. Wait, let me check the information channel. Information. Yeah, June 4th, there we go. It was initially started on June 4th, 2020, and it has been, and currently it's, what's the date today? 20th, and currently it's 20th August 2023. So, like, Blackout has been here for more than 2 years, approximate. We recently celebrated our third year anniversary, I believe. Not third year, but second year. Technically, we only completed second year. This is our third year going on as of now. And comparing this to like other official factions which have existed, like, certain factions have existed in the PL5 space before Blackout, and every single one of those factions have been like the major ones, at least. I'm not talking about the ones who are still running, but yeah, the major ones at least, whoever have been in this space for like ages. I'm pretty sure Blackout has been the only faction which has been running more than 2 years, because certain factions have already died or got nuked before. So yeah, sorry about that. Moving on to the next question. But yeah, Blackout has been here for like more than 2 years, and this is our third year going on. Next question by Broody, who's an M6 and BOW director in Blackout. He has three main questions. Ninus, I will be answering your question in here. So yeah. Broody's first question: what do you think of the idea on making a Blackout scrim detachment? I read the details in faction foreign affairs discussion when I saw this message. Uh, regarding that specific scrim detachment, Brody, I highly suggest talking to BOC director Nova to like implement this, because I don't think the need of a specific separate PvP scrim detachment is like not needed. But I get the idea is good, but implement it within BOC, because BOC is the division which focuses more on the PvP of Blackout, like player versus player and PvP skills. Uh, so I would highly suggest talking with Nova, implementing a certain specific detachment like that. Niners said BOC Hicom is thinking of something already like that. Yeah. So yeah, if BOC is actually planning regarding something like this, then yeah, good for them. But yeah, Broody, if you are going to like personally push yourself regarding this, I would highly suggest talking with Nova and finding a way to like implement this. Moving on to the next question asked by Broody, are you going to increase the rate of officer meetings being hosted? I already this is part of the roadmap itself, Broody, and yes, I am going to plan to like host, not personally, but like, uh, Broody. Wait, I'll bring you up after I answer all of your questions. But yeah, uh, just keep request to speaks on standby, Broody. Once I'm done explaining all of your questions, I'll bring you up. But yeah, regarding officer meetings, uh, I'm mostly just asking Nutkans and Nova to host it, because they are CTO and ETO, and it's more of their thing to actually host officer meetings. Recently, when I talked to Nutkans and Nova regarding it, they mentioned that both of their schools are recently starting, so they do have plans to like host officer meetings. It's just that it's not going to be done within this month at least. I think that's what they mentioned. But yeah, officer meetings, yeah, will be at least hosted at least two per month. So it might have a similar time frequency as Blackout Podcast. So one can be hosted at the start of the month, and one can be hosted in the middle of the month, depending on the ETO and CTO. But yeah, I will be pushing them in terms of increasing their frequency. Moving on to your next question, why did BRC Hicom get removed and consequentially led to Mate J being the only person to build up the whole subdivision on his own again? All right. Now, if you know about the BRC lore of how it, like, this is more of the back end of stuff which only certain officers and Hicom know. But to put it in like simple text, and what's the term? To put it in a proper timeline, when BRC initially started, I had Mate J and Helicopter mostly leading it, and down the line, both of them, Mate J was uh, initially when the leaderships changed, when Ransom was chosen as BRC M6, yeah. When Ransom was chosen as the BRC M6, he decided to remove Mate J from officers. That's more of an internal conflict thing, which I'm not going to go get into. And down the line, every single member, like dedicated officer in BRC, and these are dedicated officers who, I'll state their names: Arcane, Stronomus, uh, who was Civil is simply just was just a contracted help. He wasn't really like a dedicated officer who was going to host events. I'm more or less talking about officers who are commissioned officers and who were part of BRC. Arcane and Stronomus decided to retire. Even Ransom, who was assigned to handle BRC, decided to retire. And like with every single measure, like anytime there is a division, there is a line of chain, like a chain of command. And like if the whole chain of command just decides to retire, then I don't think there is like any leeway for someone someone to like actually take over. And whatever officers were remaining, I believe, were Civil and you. I remember you both of your profiles being active. like whenever checking those specific channels after the incident. But yeah, considering you're already leading Blackout Overwatch and already do certain work, uh, and already do certain work, I personally decided to not involve you into this. And Sybil is simply just a member who was helping out BRC regarding certain things. He wasn't there to like actually work on the division itself, like to to a full extent. So initially, Mate J was kicked from Blackout, not kicked, but removed from BRC Hicom. So whenever we were thinking about like if we wanted to keep BRC, like as of right now, the decision regarding BRC was either we remove it totally or we give it a last chance, to stand out from other divisions. And Mate J had more of a different idea than the previous people. So and Mate J still wanted to work in BRC. He just was removed from the leadership at that point. So like he couldn't do much regarding that decision. But like right now, I had a dedicated person who is ready for to work on the division. Like even with the current commissioned officers, majority of them are already involved in their own specific division like BSc, BOC, or BOW. So like I cannot drag another like present commissioned officers to work on it. So yeah, that is why I decided personally to get a Mate J. If that also fails, then BRC will just be totally scrapped out. So yeah, yes, Trix, like I said, BRC is coming back, but only after thorough implementation of stuff. Uh, by the way, Stan, if in case bots are going to be added, then yeah, BRC will most probably get them because I'm not going to be bothered in implementing blackout bot command. As funny as the abbreviation is for it, I'm not going to implement it. All right. So yeah, that was pretty much the whole BRC lore. Uh, so yeah. Uh, Wait, Broody, you wanted to talk about the scrim detachment. Can I request to speak again? The pop-up went away from me. Where's the goddamn pop-up? There we go. Oh wait, Poppy also requested to speak. Shit, I have been reading other channels, Poppy. I didn't really see. Wait, I'm just going to invite you both. Alright, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, Broody, say your thing. After that, I'll.
Poppy, yeah, yeah, Poppy, you can start first if you want to.
I didn't realize my request to speak was on. I was AFK for like 10 minutes to do something else. I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave the stage now.
Oh, it's fine.
Um, yeah, all right. So regarding the detachment, basically, I talked with Nova. We discussed a bit, and it's obvious for me that BOC is still the main fighting force for Blackout regarding scrims and faction wars. Um, but after BOW and BOC have done some scrims together, some testing scrims together against other factions, we pretty much noticed that there is a lack of skills in, for example, transportation or
Yeah,
sniping, etc. All the stuff, aerial transportation,
the things you
and
actually need for an
at this
advanced
point,
channel. Yeah.
and basically, um, BOC, my idea of a detachment, I think it's obvious. BOC would still be the main fighting force since they are the best in PvP. We can't discuss about that. They are the best. But basically, having still the best units, we have Artemis unit in BLW. We have what was it, Guardians in BSC, and BAC. We have Zeus Squadron. It isn't filled up, but we will get some other handpicked people, etc. And basically to fill up this missing spots, which, for example, just BSC or BOW or BAC could cover better than BOC since they are more specialized in this. But BOC would of course still be the main fighting force. And after discussing it with Nova, I think he pretty much has the same opinion as long as BOC, stays the main fighting force. And I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, once you do start getting work on it, I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be any issues because BOC is a subdivision, so any person's main division isn't going to get affected regarding this. But yeah, you can anytime you can work with Nova regarding this, go ahead. Uh,
Yeah, we've already started making a spreadsheet, etc. So we're working on it right now.
alright, good enough. Trixlick,
But
yes, yeah.
yeah,
No, I was answering this Trixlick's question in general. Go ahead. Do you have
I'll
anything else to say?
no, I'll go back down.
Alright.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm just going to speed run through the remaining questions because 9 minutes left to like for 1 hour, and I need to again do some work, IRL work. So yeah. Moving on to the next question. Someone used my name, Crunchy Curry, and I'm not going to even mention the question. It's really dumb. Anyways, moving on to the next question. That one Polish milk, who's an L13 in Blackout. How do you feel that after Frag stepped down from H5, Blackout has become more racist and absolutely removed their racism filter? Okay, personally, I'm not seeing people being racist, at least in the time zones when I am active. But like, if people are being racist towards certain somebody, you do know that you can report it to moderators, right? Like, the moderators can only do their work if people do their part of the work of reporting the crime. Like, if a crime isn't reported, the crime can the action the action on that specific crime cannot be taken if certain things isn't reported. Like, moderators aren't 100% active on like every single blackout channel seeing things. And like, in terms of you saying that blackout has become more racist, I personally would disagree because I haven't personally seen people act out like way too badly. Like, anytime someone does act out way too badly, they are instantly gulag two, within like 1 hour itself. Like, anytime an incident has been reported which is like actually serious, moderators take action instantly, like legit instantly. They don't wait around for like other moderators to do something or not. It's literally just running one command, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I don't know what you specifically mean by how it's gotten bad, but if you do have certain proof regarding certain people breaking the rules, feel free to DM me or make a ticket and post it there. But yeah, answering Yeat's question in general, chat. What is your opinion on older BO members saying Blackout has gone soft? Yeat, the thing regarding old members is, okay, this is more or less the whole of Blackout rather than old members. But like, when Blackout initially started, like when I personally joined in, members, yeah, they made certain jokes which can be like termed as bad, but like they weren't breaking like they weren't seriously being racist or like actually just based on their opinion. They weren't really like going out of their way just to like degrade a person. And as time went by, certain people came down the line who were pretty much saying this, and just because they were in a certain rank, people stopped questioning those people. Like, even I personally can attest to this. Like, members started saying things which were bad, but those bad things started getting normalized. So like, people mentioning like 18 plus jokes and so things literally became normal, which isn't something which is supposed to be normal, like at least in a community or something. But like, it started to become normal. And like, people just because it became more normal, people have that mindset that people constantly say to themselves that, dude, this is normal, what are you talking about, why are you enforcing rules that against the normal things which go on. And this is the specific thing which I hate regarding like whenever blackout members do mention such things, like people saying that moderation is getting tough. Moderation has still been the same since like ages. It's just that certain people normalize things which made it normal enough for people to like think that these things are normal. Like a new member, if you were a new member, I believe you were a new member like last year itself. During that time itself, being a sped was like a cool thing. It's not supposed to be a cool thing. Being a sped is actually like a vulnerable thing in the server. And like, constantly making 18 plus jokes and so on and so forth, being racist just to be like the clown of the server, that's not something not that's not something which is supposed to be normal. If you want to express certain things, go ahead and do it with a certain group which is more or less focused for it. But in terms of blackout, those things are not considered as normal. So yeah, if people are saying things, blackout has gone soft, ask I would like to ask them the same question: are you treating the other person as the same human being? Like, are you considering their opinions regarding stuff, or are they simply just seeing their opinion as the majority? Just because an opinion has a majority vote doesn't mean that opinion is always true. Just because someone likes ice cream, that doesn't make it that the person who doesn't like ice cream is like the most hated person in the world purely because they don't like ice cream. So yeah, there can be many reasons to certain things, but yeah, in terms of us going soft, we aren't going soft. We are just enforcing certain things which have been enforced since like ages, but we are going more strong on it rather than going soft on it. So yeah, I get certain humor, certain things are like part of humor, but certain people take it way too far, and I mean way too far. So yeah, like even a prime example I would like to give, like personally, is Niners. Like I even right now in the podcast itself, I joked about Niners being Chinese purely because the Chinese government is like so restrictive regarding certain stuff. So I use that. So I use that the government being like hella strict regarding stuff to like comment on why he doesn't know that water is actually wet. So like yeah, you can joke about certain things, but you cannot be like literally racist to a certain people and expect that thing to be not, you know, not taken to not action to be not taken on it. So yeah, we haven't gone soft. We are just enforcing our things more, which got lost in the past few months. So yeah. All right, moving on to the other questions. I need to really get through this. Uh, Leary Pixel, who's an L13 in Blackout. Could there be a set limit of on the amount of events that could be hosted for one event type? So like 30 patrols per month. That way there will be more event variety. Now, okay, in terms of officers hosting events, I personally prefer that officers are allowed to host whatever event they want. So officers don't feel restricted on the creativity they have. So like if an officer is like purely skilled on hosting PvP events, they can always host PvP events whenever they want. And in terms of if someone likes hosting trainings purely, they can obviously host trainings purely. But like I don't know if I can like actually implement a system where officers are being told to do a specific type of event per week or even per month, and expect that to be like used among officers, because anytime something new is introduced to officers, majority of it just instantly hate it purely because either they don't understand it or they just purely hate it. So like implementing something new between officers is like really hard. So even if I like wanted a solution for this, I can obviously do a solution which BSC uses. BSC has an officer system where they give a certain type of training to a certain officer depending on the week. So they have like three specific categories. I believe they are called Type A, Type B, or Type C. I can't remember the specific word, but it's they are categorized between A, B, and C. A being normal events, B being trainings, and C being special trainings. Special trainings meaning they're special upgrades or guardian trainings and so on and so forth. So they have this specific system in BSC, but like I don't know if implementing this in at least the commissioned officer space is like really a good idea. But I'll try to see if there can be something in the new quota regarding this. But yeah, in terms of events variety, I cannot always promise that if one of the officers hosted a patrol, the next officer will also host a patrol and not another event. But yeah, it's more or less based on the officer, on who the officer is and what they usually host. But yeah, if if in your time zone there is an officer who usually hosts patrols and trainings, then I cannot like 100% say that it will be improved upon. But yeah, it's a really vast thing. But yeah, I'll try to see if I can introduce events variety. All right, moving on to the next question. Uh, I cannot pronounce his name properly, but Kerada. Kerada. There you go. Okay. In his rank in Blackout, he says L14, I think. But anyways, uh, make me lead the Blackout Retard squadron. If we are ever planning to introduce a Blackout Retard squadron, sure. But otherwise, I don't think there's a need for it now. Blaze 94599, who's an L2 in Blackout. Why are trainings held so little? Uh, it's pretty much the same thing as event variety. Certain officers prefer certain types of events over on their own preference. But with the new quota itself, we are trying to keep it as rewarding as possible for hosting different types of events. So yeah, there might be a separate section in the new officer quota regarding it. But yeah, we are trying our best to like introduce events variety as much as possible. But yeah, it's more or less based on the officers. Like I personally cannot go and yell towards officers that you're only supposed to host this type of event and expect them to host a different variety of events. Officers are still human beings, and most of them prefer for them to see Blackout as a thing they like to do on their own terms rather than making it like a workspace. But yeah, I cannot 100% say it will work out, but I will try my best to introduce events variety. Alright, the last question by Zombo Ignis, who's an L9 in Blackout. Are you going to fix hosting times for divisions? The question is due to BSC only being able to host 2 or 4 a.m. in the morning for the American time zones. uh, in terms of like divisions, I cannot 100% say that they can always cover every single time zone. Like it's the same thing as contracted. If a certain member from a specific time zone decides to become an officer, only then that time zone will have a certain officer hosting for that specific time zone. And like commissioned officers, sure they are sort of vast and they cover the usual factions, the usual faction. But like in terms of divisional officers, they are mostly limited to like certain people only. If I remember seeing the BSC Hicom chats recently, the pings regarding officers, they are planning to like get few of the American members to like join officers. But yeah, it depends on the members itself if they want to become a divisional officer or not. But yeah, I cannot 100% guarantee that uh, people can cover every single time zone and so on and so forth. All right, that's every single question in the forms itself. All right, the very last question I'm going to ask is from Brett's DMs to me. He just sent me a lot of 3 different DMs. Oh god. All right, no more questions after this. I really need to go and wait. Wait a minute. All right, never mind. My work just got shifted. Sorry, mom. Anyways, and last question for the day. Not really last question. Few last questions for the day. Going to which is being asked by Brad. If you don't know Brad, his username in the Discord server is Toasty. Few of his questions are: do you think you are fit for H5 and you will be able to cope with balancing your life and Blackout? I'll answer it one by one. No, I personally don't think I'm fit for H5. Like legit, I personally don't think that whatever expectations are expected from an H5 I cannot simply provide it, purely because I do have a life outside of Blackout. I do still contribute majority of my life to Blackout. Like anytime I'm like spending playing games or like at least trying to spend some normal time, I still have like certain things going on in my head regarding Blackout. Broody, you are already over encumbered with handling BOW, and you're talking about getting H6. Come on, dude. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I'm all like I'm able to cope with it. It's not like it's too hard, but like I just have to manage certain timings regarding my life and regarding the stuff of Blackout itself. Like that is why I said I'm going to work on specific things at specific times only. I cannot 100% promise that those things will be implemented within the time I mentioned, but yeah, I still have a life to handle too, and I'm going to try my best to handle Blackout too. But yeah, as per my rank, yeah, I will be like dedicating a specific amount of time for blackout in my life. But otherwise, yeah, I am able to cope with it. In terms of balancing it with my life, that is that is like a long story. If you know about my life, there are like certain members in blackout who I have like talked with regarding my life. But yeah, if you know about my life, you know it's not easy for me to like balance out things. But yeah, I usually dedicate enough time for like at least the important things, so I can like keep things running rather than stopping one whole sector of my life and letting other things run. Like, I'm the sort of person who likes to keep things balanced, so wherever my importance is needed, I can always contribute to it, rather than like certain officers prefer certain past officers you prefer their life more than blackout, and that is why they retire. And like personally, I've been in this I've been in the working sector of blackout for like since like I believe 2 years at least. Not 2 years totally. Wait, I've been in the working sector of blackout like ever since I joined. I believe 1.5 years. Yeah, that's sort of an estimate. Like ever since I became like an M1, since that day itself, I have been working in one place or another. Like when the moment I became M1, I worked regarding like hosting contracted events. After that, I became the M5 of BSC. After that, I became the M6 of BSC. After even when I retired from M6 of BSC, I literally stayed as a contracted moderator, and I still like constantly checked in whatever like work is there in blackout. And whenever I saw like events not certain events not being logged, I would usually just use my moderator forms to like give myself the event logger role, log the event, or verify applications whenever there was a backlog or something. And after that, I decided to join NCOs. And after that, I decided to like and after that, Frag approached me regarding becoming H4. And ever since I became H4, H4 is like the majority of my time in the working sector of blackout. Like I've been an H4 for like more than a year now. So yeah, I have always been in the working sector of blackout, regardless of whatever things have happened in my life. So yeah, I think I'm fit for it, but I'm not saying I'm the perfect choice for it. But yeah, I have my own faults regarding certain things. But yeah, I will be trying my best to improve on my faults rather than you know using it as an excuse or anything. I'm trying my best to talk to as many people as possible, know their situation, know their understanding regarding certain stuff, and see if they have a better idea than me. And always try to push people to like be creative in their own way and implement and truly just show their own side of things. Like I personally, when I came into like the working sector of blackout, it has always been like uh, you know showing myself like how much I can do to the public. And like it has always been like a more of a passion and a hobby thing for me. It has never been a work thing for me. That is why I've lasted like this long. Even if I was under the impression of a quota or anything, I always saw this work as a passion rather than seeing it as a pure work thing. Yeah. So yeah, and also another thing regarding blackout is we have an understanding community. So even if I have certain issues regarding certain things, I will always inform the person in charge to like you know I'll just literally tell them I'm facing certain things in my life, so I won't be able to do certain things for this week or this month, and so on and so forth. And like we as a similar person who might have gone through the same things, we can understand that the other person is also a human being. We are not we are not some literal corporate company where anytime you ask for a break, they will just deduct your salary to like half for the month or something. We try our best to like be as open to the community as much as possible, even though certain of our actions may not think of it. But like as I said, there needs to be a certain balance between work and community engagement in terms of running the faction itself. So yeah, we try our best to maintain that balance. But yeah, overall that's pretty much it for that specific question. Another question: is BRC eventually going to become a main division, or will it stay as a subdivision? I'm personally thinking of keeping it as a subdivision, purely because if BRC becomes a main division, that will involve a whole another debacle of you know having boats not being as like open as possible. And like yeah, implementing a main division is really a hard thing, to be honest. Like once, like, the main divisions right now is BOW, BAC, and BSC. Two of these divisions are transport divisions. They have they have an important role, like within the game space at least. So like they do play an important role, hence why they are main divisions. BOW is is an elite sniper team. So like they play a real they are a combat division mostly, but like they also still play an important role in like blackout operations, scrims, PvP events, and even the player versus environment gameplay. So like they are a main division because of it. I cannot find enough justification for BRC to become a main division. So I'm most probably not going to place it in anywhere close to as a main division, but it will stay as a subdivision as of now. Will Blackout be making any changes to events? The overall quality of events has dropped. Patrols are getting boring. Upgrades have always been boring. PvP maps are being reused and are getting reused at this point, and we are getting barely any special events like when those YMs used to host. Officer class is hosting rather bland events, which is bringing the overall experience down. Now, as I think I mentioned this many times to like different people, but like in terms of events, if you have been in this faction for like long enough, you will obviously see the patterns in every single event. Like I personally have attended like over 900 events. I personally still feel like certain events are repetitive, yes, but I mainly focus on the experience which a specific event gives uh, rather than just combining every single event and just seeing every single type of event and just seeing. Like even when I attend a patrol or something, I usually don't expect things from the patrol itself. Like I never expect anything new in the patrol. Like anytime I do enter a patrol, this is more of a personal preference for me, by the way. But like anytime a new member joins, they sort of they sort of have a newer experience than for people who have been in this faction for like a year or more. So like yeah, in terms of special events, it's more based on the officer who's ready, who's who's ready or not to like improve their horizons based on their hosting experience. Like even right now, Poppy is hosting an operation, like a major operation which has many sectors involved. And like personally, I've only seen Poppy host like minor operations, and those are more or less involved in like either contracted space or BW space. So like this is a new step for Poppy. So like more or less events, special events being hosted, that is more of a thing for officers to move upon. I don't think Hicom really has like a straightforward way for officers to try out new things. But yeah, if officers think their work is boring, then they will not try to like be creative in it. Like in any sector of work, as long as you are passionate, only then you will find creative ways to improve like certain things. If you have been like a deployment host for like a long time, sure, over the time you saw the bland things and you figure out a way to improve it. And certain officers do improve it. They include like custom settlements and so on and so forth. And like that's them improving themselves. But like personally, I don't think as an Hicom member I can like enforce an officer to like improve on themselves unless and until they are willing to take the step forward. So yeah, I will try my best to like, as I said, events variety is something I cannot like. There is no straightforward solution to it unless and until we work as a group. But yeah, I will try my best to include certain things so officers are more incentivized towards like hosting variety of events. All right. Moving on to your second question regarding the officers. Our officers are getting soft and are repeating events rather than introducing something new. Yeah, it's pretty much similar thing. There is no creativity, and for cyber creativity, that is just yeah, cyber creativity, that is just horrible. We barely have hardcore patrols because hosts are afraid to take the risk. We barely have lore events because officers are lazy to produce such events. We can't even get custom maps for PvP since hosts are too lazy to make quality maps at times, and RG department has barely been active. RG department has been recently implemented, so I would the only thing I can comment is wait for the department to become active. Otherwise, in terms of the rest of the stuff you said, yeah, officers are like afraid to take unnecessary risk, but like there is no life without any risk. if someone is just, you know, keeping themselves in this safe bubble, there is no, guarantee that they will improve anytime soon. I'm not blaming the officers, but like officers themselves need to like take a step forward if they really want to improve themselves. But like me as a Hicom member, if I wanted officers to improve their creativity and take the risk rather than keeping themselves down, I would I would just I would first have to see if the officer is even dedicated to host for contracted or not, and see that if they even if they are dedicated, are they ready to take the step of creativity, or if they are going to stay in their safe zone and just remain the same, repeat the same thing over and over. So yeah, I cannot 100% promise this, that these things will change as soon as possible, but I will try my best to incentivize officers to like be creative more and see what things does really piss off officers to like not take the step. I get in terms of like hardcore patrols, people on like officers are like scared to not crash the treasury, but like I personally never really bothered. Anytime I see a VDIA, sure I may make it look like I am taking it like 100% seriously to my heart, but like it's literally just an in-game thing. Like it's literally imaginary money. Even if we are on a, even if we reach like zero money in the treasury, I wouldn't care. Like treasury is just a side thing we do. I like, this is a note for like every single officer. If you really think that I'm taking off like treasury 100% seriously, I cannot like trust me, I don't take treasury 100% seriously, but yeah, so we do expect certain things in deployments to be maintained, but like even if you do make a mistake, you won't be demoted or like subject to some interrogation for it. If you do make a mistake, fine, just improve on your next event, but like I'm not going to like demote you or bully you for like messing up in an event. Even I personally have messed up in many events. Even I have been personally the reason for like many VDIs in the past. Not many as in like I have a number higher than 10, but like I have lost a striker, I have lost a blackout in the past, and like as an H5, certain people may have that image that, oh, this person is perfect and everything, but like no, I'm not perfect. That's pretty much being part of that's pretty much like a package of being a human being. You're not perfect in anything unless and until you train yourself to become a perfect in certain things. So yeah. So yeah. Okay, I literally lost track of what question I was answering. So yeah. But yeah, I'll try my best to improve on certain things. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be answered. With another question and no mic. Bora. Okay, I'm not going to pronounce your name, but yeah. Will there be new type of events? Bora. There we go. Will there be new type of events or trainings reworks? I'm planning to revamp the basic training. If you haven't seen the roadmap, yeah. But I have seen a lack of info and realistic milsim, SOCOM techniques, and non-military techniques in documents, etc. Bora, funny thing regarding non-military techniques. Okay, first thing, let me like clear up. Blackout has never been like a faction who uses specific real-life military trainings. Trust me, we never use those. If you have seen us in like actual PvP scrims, sure we do have certain level of teamwork, but we don't follow specific military protocols. Like certain militaries may have like an SFL system where if they are patrolling an area, they will maintain that SFL and like have every part of that unit like watch a specific direction. So like the front person who's the squad leader can like is watching the 12 o'clock, the second person is like watching the 3 o'clock, the third person is watching the 10 o'clock, and so on and so forth. Like we blackout, the main purpose of blackout is to not be those kind of factions. Like majority of factions in PL5 are those type of factions who like use military IRL military things. But like blackout wants has always been the division who stands out from the basic norm of divisions and simply focuses on members to have fun in their events. No, I'm not planning to add more subdivisions. You wish you was me. 99. But yeah, blackout ever since its creation has always aimed for members to enjoy the events rather than learn something new about like real life military tactics. We do have certain trainings which have certain things, but those are like basic things which usual military factions or like militaries teach people. But those are things like a certain member, we only do those certain trainings because we want the member to be like at least known about certain things, basics of certain things. And like even the basic training itself is more focused on like teaching the member on how to behave on certain occasions rather than actually teaching new things. But yeah, in the new training revamp I'm doing, I'm going to implement more combat related applications. But otherwise, yeah. All right, I'm not going to answer any more questions. It's been more than an hour. Oh god. I initially planned this to keep this within an hour, but it's nearly going to be more than an hour. Oh god. Okay. I'm trying to keep it less than an hour purely because certain people have mentioned that they don't want to listen. But yeah. Bora, I will be drinking water soon. You know what? I might as well just drink it right now. Give me a minute. Ah. Also, Brett, thank you for your concerns too. I did read the part where you mentioned for me to drink water, but yeah. Okay. Mentioning the other thing which you mentioned, Brett. I also feel that the main reason the quality of events are dropping is because the people hosting events are dropping their standards, which is slowly lowering the requirement when they host. If they are constantly, if they are, if there are constantly top quality events, then people will feel the expectation that they want to increase the quality of their events. Yeah, like there are many factors in terms of like judging an event's quality, but like in terms of certain people hosting certain events, yes, I can agree that they have quite a different approach of hosting events, which majority of people may not agree, even myself. But yeah, in terms of like overall having a default line for quality of events, yes, I will try my best to improve on it, and hopefully, yeah. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions. I've already completed the questions from the forums and people whenever they ping me. Alright, now I need to edit the podcast. Oh my god. Alright. Anyways, except the suffering part of me. Thank you to the people who have lasted this long in the podcast, listening to me ramble about stuff. If you have been here since the start of this podcast, I appreciate you spending your time and listening to me. Otherwise, going to take the screenshot of the VC, the stage. Uh, yeah, I'll give out to the people who I think have been in the start. But yeah, for the people who have attended this as the live audience, thank you for attending. And I'll see you next week in the next podcast. But otherwise, thank you for attending. Have a good day.